So I have to admit, the more you grow and the more you evolve, the more you're going to start enjoying sitting in silence. And to be honest with you, it's pretty weird. People are going to start thinking something's wrong with you. People are going to start thinking you're not as interesting anymore. People might think that you're becoming depressed or you're going through something and you just don't want to talk about it. But truth be told, it's honestly none of those things. It's simply the fact that you're transitioning out of ego and personhood, which inherently is a very noisy way of life. You're not interested in gossip anymore. You're not interested so much in becoming a billionaire or the next big adventure. It's just that you're starting to recognize the simplicity of just being. You're starting to realize how amazing life is when you're not trying to chase things, when you're not chasing other people, and you're no longer trying to manipulate life into a specific shape that you think is going to make you happy. Now, I'm speaking from experience here, but at what I've been noticing over the years of being on this like spiritual path, if you want to call it that, is that I just really like sitting in silence sometimes. Like, I remember there was this phase, especially in the early days, where I would just sit on the floor in my apartment and look out the window, and I would just spend hours doing that. And honestly, I was a little bit embarrassed to even share that because I was like, well, I don't want people to think I'm different or weird. But it was just something I was just enjoying. I was enjoying silence. And now that I'm older and much more grounded and much more confident in my way of life, if you want to call it that, I'm starting to see the value in allowing myself to just be in silence. Out of silence, I feel like so many good things come. When you have space, you're able to see things more clearly. And that clarity starts to become like a North Star for yourself in your life because you're going to start to realize that, oh, I'm starting to see what actually contributes value to my life. And it's a very auspicious thing to start to recognize that because I'll tell you what, 99% of the things that the world is trying to sell you is complete like bullshit. A lot of it is just what people think these things are going to make you happy. People think, oh, well, if I get a million social media followers, I'm going to be happy. Or if I get my girlfriend to finally stop doing this one thing, or if I get a relationship, or if I get this or that, whatever you want to call it, the world tells you that, oh, this is going to make you happy and you're going to be very content. But we see examples all the time, and you've probably seen examples in your own life where you get these things and they don't necessarily make you happy, right? So eventually, what starts to happen as you as a soul or you as consciousness, what you start to realize at some point is like, oh, okay, well, if I keep getting things and they're not making me happy, then what does make me happy? And that's a beautiful moment in your life because that's when you start to actually search in the right direction. Because it's no longer that, oh, I'm looking for material or I'm looking for people. You're just looking for some form of rest. And this is where you start on the spiritual path, and we can talk about the space of beingness and the space of just awareness or these things, whatever you want to call them. Now, this is the interesting part. Even as you start to become more detached from the world, you start to operate in the world more efficiently and more effectively. Like, I'll speak from my experience here. I remember before I started on the spiritual path, I was somebody who didn't have the best kind of relationships with my family. I wouldn't have really called myself a hard worker. I never really considered myself smart. To be honest with you, the thing I like doing most is going out to the bar and drink. That was really what my life was. But as I started to come more inward and I started to be more attracted to God and spirituality and beingness, I also found that I started becoming more efficient and effective in the world. For example, I built a business, I built a media company, and it's sustained me for 10 plus years now. I would say at this point in my life, my relationship with my parents is probably the best it's ever been in my whole life. My relationship with my siblings, my friendships as a whole. I no longer necessarily find myself in friendships that are harming me or toxic or anything. Most of my friend groups are people that they just support me. I have amazing community. And I'm not saying any of this to brag. I'm not saying this like, oh, look at me, look at what I've done. But I would accredit all of this to some form of clarity that arose in me as I started to meditate more, as I started to become more drawn to just beingness. I started to feel more grounded. And from that groundedness, from that clarity, I started to see things that actually make me happy. So naturally, you start to detox things, right? You start finding that, oh, well, I don't really want to hang out with this person anymore because I notice I'm not that happy when I'm with them. Or you start to notice, like, oh, I'm really not happy at my job. And you start to have this essentially this confidence in life that, like, oh, well, actually, why can't I just do this? Because beforehand, you were living in some form of ego or personhood. And the thing about the ego is it's like super limited, right? We all carry these identities that somehow hold us back in life. So instead of essentially what I describe it is like you're no longer carrying this huge weight on your back and trying to go up the mountain, right? When you start on the spiritual journey, when you start meditating, when you start gaining more clarity, it's like you start to feel more confident, and the confidence has always been there. It's just you're dropping these false beliefs, these mental strains, this mental heaviness, and you're starting to realize that essentially you are consciousness, right? You start to feel more in tune with yourself. You start to feel more alive. You start to feel happier and lighter. And it's just a natural confidence, right? Which is a whole thing I can go on about because people think confidence is like the ego beating on its chest and saying, like, look at me, I'm a confident person. But to be honest with you, there's no such thing as like a confident ego. The ego is a very insecure state. It's more that your natural sense of beingness is confident because it's natural. It's almost like in sync with the universe. Of course, it's confident. It is. And it's you. And it's crazy, but like, it sounds like I'm not trying to come off here and sound like super abstract, but just like simply put, it's like imagine a newborn child, which I had a kid a few days ago. Thank you. I'm very blessed. But imagine a newborn child, like literally 1 day old, looking up at you and being like, I'm not confident. No, lack of confidence is a learned trait, right? And that's this like logic about it. So when you start to detox, right? When you start to meditate, when you start to spend time um, inwardly, when you're more drawn to silence, like I was saying earlier in this video, you start to just tune back into that natural space of beingness, which is just confident in itself. It's not trying to be confident, but it's just confident. It's natural. And I guess the point of me like making this video is maybe just offering you some guidance on or encouragement, I can say, to really start to meditate more. Don't be ashamed that you like being in quieter environments. Don't be ashamed that you don't really want to hang out with groups of people that are gossiping all the time. Don't even be ashamed that, dude, I don't even if you don't feel like working at the moment, it's not that you're not a hard worker, it's more that you just haven't found the thing that's in sync with your soul. And that's totally okay. So, I guess the point of this video is to challenge all these heavy beliefs that are put on us by society. And I've just found in my own life that these beliefs have really contributed to a sad life, and it's been a very heavy life. But as I started to challenge these beliefs, as I started to look more inward, as I started to appreciate silence more, it's almost like I started noticing more happiness, more freedom, more space. I started recognizing a real confidence inside of my heart. And that confidence is also inside of your heart. And I don't even have to call it confidence. We can just call it beingness because it's just a natural space of awareness and consciousness. Now, I'm on like 4 hours of sleep. So I didn't really prep this video, but I felt to share it because it just comes like that. Again, I just sit, I tune in, kind of try and vibe out what I feel like talking about today. And today I felt like talking about all this. So if you found any value in this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, support this channel, and I will keep making more content like this. If there's anything specific that you want me to take a hit at, please drop a comment. I'll talk to you soon. Peace, guys. Sorry about the baby crying. Couldn't do anything about it. We just accept it as the present moment. All right, bye.